actually caught me. I mean, Gervonta, I didn't really. It wasn't a hard fight. I was just weak. That's not a hard fight for me. I will beat Gervonta Davis worse than I beat Devin Haney. Devin Haney's a harder fight than Gervonta. And I know if you like they're gonna go crazy right here, but at the end of the day, you know, I've proved them wrong before. You know, at the end of the day, you guys could pull up the picture of me, how I look for a Tank fight and how I look for Devin Haney fight. They knew what they were doing, and he will never fight me at 145, so it doesn't really matter. And that's why he was trying to text me all nice and tweet me, "Oh, Ryan, I'll give you my real number now. Let's go to the club. You know, I hung out with P. Diddy, and now I want to hang out with you." Like, bro, we're like.
Tank has seen this. I saw that.
Yeah, you seen that.
Did you guys speak after the fight? Like, did he call you to congratulate you or no?
He tried to go out with me. Pause. He did, though. I think people overrate his boxing ability, in my opinion.
You think Tank's a better boxer? Forget power.
Yeah, I think he's a better boxer. Like strategic mind, I think Tank is better. I think people overrate his boxing ability, in my opinion.
You think Tank's a better boxer? Forget power.
Yeah, I think he's a better boxer. Like strategic mind, I think. Tank is better. I think people overrate his boxing ability, in my opinion.
You think Tank's a better boxer? Forget power.
Yeah, I think he's a better boxer. Like strategic mind, I think. Tank is better. I was one of the best in the amateurs.
Right.
I lost one fight to a guy that's arguably one of the best in the world, and he had a weight drain me, and he had to put a rehydration clause, and all that shit.
So you can outbox.
If you don't think I'm good, that's crazy.
What's good, YouTube family? It's your boy KB, back to get boxing is just due. But before we get into it, y'all make sure y'all give me my just due by smashing the like button, subscribing to the channel, and make sure you turn your notifications on so y'all can be notified when I drop more content. So let's get right into it, man. What y'all just heard was a clip from Ryan Garcia. You know, it was a while back. I don't know why it's resurfacing now and people treating it like it's new. But he went on the podcast to talk about the difference pretty much between his fight with Gervonta Tank Davis and Devin the Dream Haney. And he went on to say that Devin Haney's the much tougher fight and how he would beat, you know, Tank even worse than he beat Devin Haney. You know, he was more hurt in the fight against Devin. He said Tank didn't really hurt him that much. He was just weight drained. It was just a sharp shot that he got hit with. And then he went on to say things like, you know, Tank wanted to be his friend, wanted to go out with him and all these different things. And, you know, I also showed y'all the clip where he was saying how Devin Haney's boxing skills is overrated and he feels like Tank Davis is the better fighter, the more mindful, more strategic fighter. This is what he said in a Fight Hub interview, which came after the interview that he did with the podcast. So it just goes to show you how he got caught lying in 4K, or how fighters just switch up from time to time depending on the podcast that they go on. 1 minute, you know, he's downplaying Tank Davis and, you know, he don't hit that hard and he's not a tough fight, but you got stopped by Tank in 6 rounds and you didn't land nowhere near the kind of shots that you were landing on Devin Haney. And you could blame it on the weight all you want. I mean, you performed better and you had more energy and a better gas tank in the Gervonta Davis fight than you did for the Devin Haney fight. Everybody's saying how, you know, not drained, but how, you know, fatigued you look, fighting in spurts, and you just look gassed. Your gas tank was trash. You didn't fight that way against Tank Davis. Had you came into the ring with Tank Davis in that kind of condition, it probably would have ended a lot worse for you. But, you know, I have no problem with fighters giving their opinion. You know, at the end of the day, he got in there with both of those guys. I can't tell him who's the tougher fighter, but I could highlight and expose how, you know, he flip-flopped and he went on to say that Devin Haney boxing skills is overrated and Tank Davis is the better boxer. So I take a lot of the other stuff he said with a grain of salt, man. People always downplay Tank Davis, but the fact of the matter is you got stopped by Tank. You got dropped in, the second round or so, and then he you know, dropped you with a body shot in the 6th and ended the fight. And I just don't see how the guy that you beat up on and you drop several times throughout the fight and, end up getting a unanimous decision against. I don't see how that was the tougher fight as opposed to the guy that dropped you twice and stopped you and pretty much, made you quit on the knee. Some people felt like you quit. I just said it was a real body shot that made you stop. But nonetheless, Tank Davis handled business. You didn't have nearly the kind of success against Tank that you did against against Devin the Dream Haney. So I just don't see how it's logical to say that, Devin's the much tougher fight. Now, maybe it's because y'all actually went 12 full rounds and, with Tank, it went half of that pretty much. And you had a chance to see, just how talented Devin Haney was. I mean, aside from him getting knocked down in those rounds, he put together several rounds where he was outboxing Ryan Garcia, and he even hurt him. And Ryan admitted to being even more hurt in the Devin Haney fight than he was against Tank. So you just never know with these fighters, man. They flip-flop depending on the time of the day and the podcast that they go on. At the end of the day, Tank beat you. He stopped you, gave you the only loss that you have on your record to this day. And Devin Haney came up short, even though it was switched to a no contest because of the Osterine that Ryan Garcia, popped dirty with. So, at the end of the day, we have a rematch coming up. Hopefully, both guys handle their business. Devin Haney against Jose Ramirez and Ryan against Rolly. So we can see that rematch and it be on an even playing field. No Osterine, no PEDs and banned substances at play. And just let these two warriors go out there and see who the better man. And as I always said, man, I'm rooting for, Devin Haney in this fight in a rematch, and I think he can do it. If he makes the right corrections, he can beat Ryan Garcia in a rematch, and I'm standing on that. But that's my thoughts, man. Y'all get in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Did I give boxing its just due? And let me know who else y'all want to see me give their just due, man, because that's what I do over here, Just Do Boxing. To the next one, I'm out. Peace.